Well, hello, everyone. Hi, hello, everyone. I am so excited. My name is Tina Greer. Before we get started, my name is Tina Greer, and welcome to our podcast. Before I even get started, let me just tell you the title of today is Global Partnerships, Collaboration, and Cultural Synergy. So, Miss Elsa Caleb, how are we doing today?
Fine, thank you, Tina. Yep, great, thank you.
Good, good. So are we live on YouTube? Listen, we want to make sure that everybody can see us.
Trying to find it, but yeah, I'm sure.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
keep going. I'll keep going. Mhm.
Want to make sure all is well. We are live. We are live. Okay, it's showing live. So that's a live and living color. We are going to continue on with the broadcast. And
Excellent.
hopefully people will chime in and let us know that they can see us and so forth. So we don't have the intro, the music and so forth, but with we just want to make sure with all our tech that we are good and so forth. So super excited about that. All right. So let's get going. Okay, one more check. Okay. My system is saying that it's live. So
Okay.
we're just going to go ahead and get going, and I believe it's going to catch up. Okay. All right. All right. So, again, our title today and what we're going to be talking about is global partnerships, collaboration, and cultural synergy. So excited about that, those topics, those different elements of topics today. So we're exploring what it really means to collaborate across borders, not just in theory, but in practice. So again, I'm joined by someone who embodies the global mindset, Miss Elsa Caleb, the director of the West London Chamber of Commerce, who is a business strategist, champion for entrepreneurs worldwide. So Elsa, welcome. I am
Thank
so
you.
glad that you are here with me today.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Tina. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So if you want to add in a little bit and let everybody know a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, although I'm one of the directors for the West London Chamber of Commerce, I also run my own business. I'm a business strategist. I focus a lot on assisting businesses take them to the next level, whether it's through mentoring, whether it's through the one-to-one consultancy, through training, through even speaking courses on various accredited training courses. I'm there for the business to take them from, as I say, from where they are to the next level.
Awesome, awesome. There we go. Now I see us talking. I'm on YouTube. I can see us
Excellent.
now on my phone. So we're good to go.
You can start talking. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Yes, we are live on YouTube. So super excited about that. So that is wonderful. So let's start by grounding the conversation. So even
Mhm.
though we are in different parts of the world and we're connected virtually, right? So,
Definitely.
and in
Yeah.
many ways, our goals and leaders, as leaders and entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
are the same. So, I am just excited that we can, you know, build relationships and talk and to have, really good strategic discussions on how
Yeah.
we can help each other virtually. So, we don't
Yeah.
have to be physically in the same room, but we are in
Mhm.
our virtual rooms, right?
Yes, we are. Definitely. Yeah.
So, one
Mhm.
of the topics I want to talk about is connection and common ground. So,
Okay.
Elsa, what do you think about the collaboration between the US and UK? And what stands out most to you? What are the similarities you think that connects us and or the nuances that make us unique? When we first had our first conversation, what was your thoughts about that?
What I felt when we first met, and it was at the conference, was the fact that We were open, honest, and transparent. One about what we do, and also, I suppose in some cases, how we felt, which I felt was important because usually in a business setting, you tend to talk about, you tend to become extremely formal first and foremost. And it's like you're trying to break through a barrier and break through walls, but that didn't happen for me and you. We were ourselves straight away. And
Right. I think that authenticity was
yeah,
there. And then
definitely.
how much we actually had in common, even though we were worlds apart.
So true, because you were talking to me. I'm thinking, but hang on, I've done that. I'm doing that, and we were doing the same. And I was thinking, let's compare what we do and see how we get on. And I think that's the reason why we clicked, and that's the reason why we're where we are today, because it was one of the first times that I felt that I was just thinking, hang on, you're me in reverse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is nice because I don't always get that when I connect with anybody from the States. It's usually they're in a different profession altogether. And because of what we do is quite unique, it's very interesting that we were able to meet, greet, and as I say, continue with the conversation.
Definitely, definitely. So I am so glad that we actually met, and we physically met at the Go Global conference held in Atlanta, Georgia, in
Right.
our B2B matchmaking.
That's right,
So
yes. Yes, it was my second one that I did for the day. And I was like pinching myself. I'm thinking if it's like this at the, more or less the beginning, what's the rest of the, the few days going to be like? So
yes.
it was a fantastic start. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Hats off to Ricardo Verdes, the chair
Oh
of
yeah.
the GOC Committee of the Atlanta Black Chambers, and his team for putting a phenomenal event together. And actually, as a result, we are here right now
Right.
having this conversation. So
Listen.
super excited about that bridge that was forged because of the B2B matchmaking event and so forth. So let's talk about partnerships and why does partnerships matter? So why do you believe like partnerships across borders matter more than ever now? So especially in today's virtual and global economy. So let's talk about technology and the post-pandemic connection. Some challenges. Why does partnerships matter to you in that perspective?
I think partnerships matter, and I'm saying this from my perspective first and foremost, because depends on how long you've been in business. I've been in business for 28 years, and I'm a person that can reinvent myself in a slightly different way to whatever I'm doing. So, so I don't always do the same thing over and over again. I try and reinvent in a slightly different way. But after 28 years, a lot of people think, "Oh, what else can you do?"
Mm-hmm.
But because my late mother used to always say, "Keep learning, never give up learning." So no matter what you're doing, like before the pandemic, for example, I was on Skype. I didn't realize there was only a handful of people that were actually doing business on the laptop. I was doing it in Skype, but only on a local level. So when the pandemic hit and Zoom came on, it was all about learning Zoom. We all had to, work our way around the system, but it was an element of learning. So that
Mm-hmm.
meant that we started doing things in a slightly different way, even though you're
Right.
still doing the same things that you're doing. And that's what I mean about reinventing yourself, meeting new people, doing, in some cases, the same things, slightly different. So you never get you never get bored. And then you've got the outside influences, whether or not it be political or economical, it's going to have an impact on what you do and how you actually position yourself in the market arena. And because I think when we entered the business arena, it's all about change. Any business that turns around and say that they're still doing the same things, 20 years, I think you've got a slight problem, or you may not have a lot of customers, put it that way.
That
But
is
it's
so true. I think it is so important. We have to be very, just change with the times, and there's sometimes where we have to pivot because
definitely.
of the economic environment that we're in, because of the situation that that we just came out of with post pandemic. Just in case, like for example, before the pandemic, I was a virtual coach. I did training and development. My clients were all over the US, but
Right.
but I met them most of them virtually. So in regards to that part, it really didn't the going coming inside and just coming on Zoom. I was used to that already. But
Right.
because of the dynamic changes that we have endured personally and
Correct. Yeah.
professionally, and how it had affected our business and our personal lives, things needed to be adjusted. And even
Mm.
so, for me, learning new things, I love to learn,
And I think
and I'm like, okay, you have to stay on top of it if you want to stay, be an entrepreneur and be in
that's
business for yourself. You can't be stagnated. You have to constantly learn and reinvent yourself at times, whether it be a slight pivot, adding a different product or service, or totally going in a different direction based on what your purpose and your passion is at that moment. So for me, what I did is that I actually became a certified AI consultant and
okay.
added, that to my services, which I am a business growth strategist. So
Mhm.
intertwining those two makes me, I feel, very relevant. And it is an industry that is, on trend, on point. We're not going to go back from AI, okay?
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Uh,
So it's all about integration, integration, helping companies think more strategically and make sound business decisions as they propel in their respective businesses. So it's all about connecting with individuals, not just locally, but all over the world. Because,
yeah.
we work, it's even sometimes it's better when you have partners and you're partnering and you're collaborating and, more minds than just one. You know how they say,
Oh,
two,
yeah, definitely.
it's better than more than one mind
Yeah,
working
exactly.
together to solve, the challenges or provide solutions. You have people to bounce things off of. And the beautiful thing about globally is
Mhm.
you're now coming into working with individuals that you have that synergy, but you're coming at different angles. And that is so powerful, I believe.
Extremely powerful. And as you talk about the pandemic, I say the week of the pandemic, earlier in that week, I just accepted another contract, but it was working with the university. So I started to work with those um, university students that were focusing on business. So
Mhm.
all I did during the pandemic was change my customer base.
Mm.
So that was interesting because I was relying a lot on the small businesses. But as I said, I got that contract that week. I didn't have, when people had time, I didn't have time during the pandemic. Living by myself, I just had a new contract that I thought, something, I've got to make this work.
Mhm.
Because, as I say, customer base, it worked really well. But I mean, when everybody was coming out of the pandemic and saying, "Oh my goodness, we're ready to run," I was thinking, I'm now ready for a rest.
Right, right.
I mean, so I was quite busy. I mean, I thank, I'm really grateful and thank God for being busy during the pandemic and having to live by myself. I mean, I don't know what I would have done otherwise. I would have still had some clients, but I think that new project really got me thinking differently and creating, I suppose, a different offering, which was
Mhm.
needed. Definitely.
Exactly. That is so true. Wow. This is great. Look, I didn't even know that you had that type of situation where
Mhm.
being working virtually worked for you.
Oh, yes,
In that
definitely.
instance, because of course we know many, was not afforded those opportunities, unfortunately. But I am so glad that, we know how to transition and change and go with the flow. You have to
Definitely.
be nimble and go with
Yeah.
the flow in order to make things work. So that is so great. Great. So this is awesome. Now, building bridges,
Yeah.
not barriers. Let's talk about that a little
Mhm.
bit. Building
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
bridges. Now, what are some barriers that often show up when the US and the UK businesses try to collaborate? And how do we turn those barriers into bridges? you
I
know,
suppose, yeah.
let's just talk about like time zones for one. We got to get that right, right?
Oh my goodness. I think was it the first meeting that we were going to do? I just happened to be in New York,
Right.
but my calendar was still showing the British time. And do you know what I mean? I think I had to reschedule because my calendar told me, as I say, the British time, and you were waiting the American time. And because we're 5 hours difference, you were
Right.
there in the morning. I was there and thinking, well, actually, I'm meeting you in the afternoon. But we managed to eventually get it right. So that
Yes.
time difference is, I tell you, I have experienced it firsthand. Whilst in New York, I still had to deliver a training course in the UK. It meant
Oh,
that I had to get up at 3 o'clock New York time, because it takes me a couple of hours to get myself ready and also prepare
yes.
for the training course to deliver at 5 o'clock New York time, which was 10 o'clock in England.
Oh my
Do you see what I
goodness.
mean? And I remember that day so well. 3 o'clock I got up and I was thinking, I know I needed the time to settle and get my head right. But what was interesting is when I actually clicked the button at 5 o'clock US, 10 o'clock England, the facilitator there was saying, what, straight from New York? And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, but I've got my UK audience. So that was really strange. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I am in New York, but I'm still got my UK audience. So that time zone is interesting. Yeah.
And that's something that as business owners, that's sometimes a sacrifice that we have to just endure and do because we want the business and we want to show up great as if it was midday and they won't know the difference. Even though you're like, oh my God, the crack of dawn, I'm up. I was like that when I had we were in Arizona and I
Okay.
still had to prepare for a 9:30 East Coast time meeting.
Right.
So I'm getting up way early. It's still
Yeah.
dark outside, but I still showed up and showed up great. And that's what we have to do if we even want to take that barrier and
Yeah.
turn it into a bridge of success,
There
and
you
walk
go.
across that bridge with our head held up high. We can do this. Nobody knows. We're going to bring that same energy, right?
Totally. And also not forgetting cash flow. I mean, I know I was on holiday, but
Mm-hmm.
had I not got up at 3 o'clock, when I got back to the UK, it'd be like, oh my goodness, I've got to do some more work because I've got to catch up on, the work that I've missed and everything else. But because I was able to, fit it all in, yeah, it does work.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it could have been a barrier, seriously, for when I got back, because it would have meant me thinking, actually, something, I might just have to just focus on the UK totally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as opposed to try to develop, connections in the US. But yeah,
Yes. And that's what the intention for me was, because my intention is to go global, is to provide training workshops, facilitate workshops, work with clients abroad, not just in the US. So that is one of the things that I have to be okay with, is adjusting with time zones
yeah.
and in order to serve my clients.
Mhm.
So that is very important. What about language barriers? For
Oh,
example, when we were initially talking and we were scheduling the times to meet up, I called it a calendar, right?
yeah.
And in the UK, you call it a
Well, sometimes we call it a diary.
diary, right?
Let me get my diary, and it's like,
Yeah. So it's like, okay, okay, we're talking about the same thing, but we just call it different
different.
things, and being okay with the different. And that's just a minor example, but it's something like, I'm used to the word calendar. That's what we call it here in the US. We do not call it diary, but that's what you call it in the UK.
Oh, but
So,
sometimes we call it a calendar as well. It just depends.
mhm,
Some people still
right.
call it a calendar, yeah. But it was just that minor adjustment. Yeah.
Right. So with other, and then of course there's other cultural or no, excuse me, language barriers that other, like, depending on if let's say you're in Germany or Asia, or you just have to work, be okay and be open to
Yeah,
learning
definitely.
the other person.
Definitely about the learning. And also it's in some cases how we do things. Like, for example, we're talking about doing business now. I can't turn around and say to you that we're doing a transaction today financially. No, because what I've had to do is come back to the UK and start to sit on the export courses so that I get to understand the governance and the proper way to do business. I can't just suddenly say, right, I'm going to start doing transactions with the US. I need to understand the tax situation and how we do things legally. So as I say, we're developing a relationship now with a view that in the future, yes, the business can actually start, and thrive. And it could be in a form of partnership. But I think some people feel because we're talking now, the transaction's going on straight ahead. And we've got to be very careful because, we can't break the law at the same time at building our business, because we didn't break the law when we're in our own country. So why do we suddenly, because we suddenly throw all of that out the way? No, I've been on enough webinars this week and last week just to do with exporting and how we at the UK do business with North America. And I've learned a lot. I've heard a lot.
Awesome. So, well, and that's the more knowledge, the more powerful. And then also making sure that everything is in compliance when you're doing business internationally. Definitely. So very important. So important. Wow. So let's talk about the human element. So in every partnership, cultural plays a role. And from your side, what cultural traits make collaboration easier or more challenging? And how do we build a mutual understanding? So, for example, like our listening styles or leadership styles, patience. Everyone's different. We know that we're all different. And we and our styles of understanding communication, our soft skill styles, communication, leadership may be different. But I think it's very important that we listen to each other. We voice our opinions, our stance, or what we even interpret what we believe you're trying to say, to make sure that you have a good understanding, with each other when you're doing business. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts, for me, I always say to people, I'm an introvert first and foremost. So whenever I meet anybody, I don't suddenly say, hello, how are you? How can we X, Y, Z? Okay, I'll meet the person. I will hold back and I will allow the person to take the lead. This is just my style. Like when we met, Tina, you started speaking and I'm listening because that's my go-to place because of the the work that we do. I'm always listening more so than I am talking. What it also did, it enabled me to get to understand you in the first few words that you said. And Tina, you are a leader, okay?
Thank you.
I'm more of a supporter. Do you see what I mean? It's taken me years to realize that. So whenever I go into conversations, I don't always just take the lead. I will take it if I have to, because I've chaired enough boards to do it. But when I've met a person, I think, well, actually, yeah, they're comfortable in their own right. They've got the confidence. Allow them to lead.
Right.
By doing that, you're now walking in your current state and how you do things because you are a leader. There's not that conflict of who's going to speak the loudest and say the most. I'm saying. You're going to say, and I'm going to listen, because that is, I say, my go-to mode. That's what I do. You're going to feel comfortable because you're being you. I'm comfortable because I'm being me.
Right.
But then there'll be that time when we started to speak, and I'll say, hang on a minute, can I just clarify what you've said? Do you mean X, Y, Z, A, B, C? And you go, yeah, right. And I go, right, I've got that right. So then we build on that. And it's exactly how we operated. We built on it until we got to the stage that we can just relax and just talk.
Right. That is so true.
Getting those few bits out of the way and feeling comfortable by being ourselves.
Right.
And I think that's what really did it for us, because I've got nothing to prove to anyone. I always say that. At my age, I have nothing to prove.
That is, you're showing up as your authentic self. Either you accept me or you don't.
There you go.
Either
And
we
you
can
do
work together. If there's a vibe, there's synergy, there's the energy is right, you'll know it.
Yeah.
If not, you'll back down.
And also, you would remember me saying, Latina, you take the lead. It wasn't that I was giving in. It's because I know that you was in your element. And I wasn't going to dampen that. I wasn't going to dampen it. But any support that you wanted, like you say, Elsa, can you do this? Yeah, I'll support. No problem. And I think that makes a good partnership. It makes a good friendship. Develops a relationship, because, yeah, we've got all those hard things out the way. We've got nothing to do to each other. At the end of the day, you still got your business. I've still got mine. Together, it becomes stronger. Not only that, we become good sounding boards for each other.
I love that. I mean, you're bringing in that, that aspect of collaboration, of, knowing, knowing and being comfortable where you are, and then your brilliance and your shine is right there, and you're not competing or anything like that, but you're bringing together great minds that can produce something even greater because we're collaborating. So
definitely,
that's powerful. That is so powerful. And I love the different styles of leadership that we bring to the table, because you're definitely a leader. I've seen the pictures and you and the dignitaries and all of this. So don't tell me you're not. I know you lead. I'm a leader and I'm a follower, but I know when it's time for me to lead, I know what I need to do. So it's we're both leaders. And we have our own style.
Own style. And my style, as I said, is not to come out front, even though I can do it, and I do break the ice when I need to.
Right.
But
we need to.
I also know when to say, okay.
Wow, that is powerful. And look, I'm just doing a time check.
Oh gosh.
It's already like almost 2:00. 30 minutes. That's 30 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. We may need to have a part 2.
We will do a part 2. Not maybe. We've got to do a part 2.
We have to do a part 2 because this is so powerful. I think I'm just going to end on this last question. And it talks about synergy through shared vision. And then let's talk about synergy. The magic happens when two entities align. What does true synergy look like to you in your business? So what is a success story that you would want to share with the audience?
Wow. A success. Oh gosh. A success story for me is when I can sit down with somebody and say, you know something, this is what I'd like to achieve, even if it's over the next 3 months. So it can be as short term as that. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. But at the same time, hearing what they want to do. And then we then look at what are the common areas. Like we said, for example, it could be the fact that we do a podcast. Let's start with a podcast. Yeah, that's great. So then we start to build on that.
Right.
So it's taking it from the introductory stage. So let's do a podcast. So it meant behind the scenes, we had to work together. We had to do the emails. We had to do another Zoom to make things happen. And then from there, we will now build on that onto the next stage.
That's powerful. And that's a real live example of what we've done.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think some businesses need to know how easy and simple it is.
Yes.
Without making, why would we complicate it? Why would we rush it?
And I think one thing also, keeping in mind that it doesn't have to be perfect. You sometimes have to not do it afraid. You have to do it afraid. You cannot predict everything that's going to happen. You can only, through experience, if you've done, if you're working with someone that has that experience and has done that before, they can give guidance and say, okay, this is what happened previously. This is how I did it before. They kind of let you know what to expect. But at the end of the day, you just have to do it afraid. And it does not have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to show up. If that's the case, we probably wouldn't have done it.
But we would have kept putting it off anyway until
we would have
we
kept
did
putting
get
it off, having excuses and things of that nature. But I think that is so. This is a success story because this is the beginning, and to establish the relationship. You're building upon a relationship. So sometimes it's not the fact that even though we are worlds apart, continents apart, but the thing about it is that we're starting at a point of building something, building a strong foundation in order to take it to the next level. And then also identifying the goals that we want to achieve in that time frame, putting step by step, brick by brick. I put a post in LinkedIn today talking about building in the background, brick by brick. And sometimes when people see you, they say, oh, wow, they did it so easily. And that may not be the case. You've been in the background grinding, and then sometimes everything that you do does not work. So you have to pivot. You have to shift. You have to learn more. You have to tweak this, tweak that in order to get the desired outcome that you are looking for.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, what I liked about when we were speaking, we didn't just start with, well, what next? We started with, what do we want to achieve by the end of the year? Do you remember? And all the different steps that we said we're going to take. It wasn't just, suddenly we're going to just do a podcast and that was it.
Right.
I mean, we actually talked through other things and we actually put timelines on it and dates and everything else. So at least we can continue. And then from there, as we move forward, we will add to that.
Right.
So it's not all about, that's it, we've got it all together and that's it, bang, that's it. No, we'll do this, then we'll do that, then we'll do that. Then later on, we'll sit down and etc. So it's an ongoing
journey, building brick by brick, solidifying the business relationships, getting to know each other, and then bounce out ideas off of each other in order to make it better. That is what partnership, collaboration, synergy, cultural synergy is all about. Yeah. And we are started here today.
At least we started.
All right. At least we started. And we're going to continue.
Yes. So watch this space.
Awesome. Well, I think that we're going to be mindful of the time and respectful of other people's time. Now, individuals who have come on for the replay, definitely leave your comments. Let us know what you think about our podcast today. And we look forward to connecting again. You will see more of us. Trust. You will see more of us. So I see got someone saying hello. Thank you for coming in. Definitely for the replay viewers. Hit hashtag replay. Let us know that you did come in and view our podcast and leave your questions. We definitely will come back and answer those questions. So super excited about what's to come. And Elsa, do you want to just share with them? We're going to be having our next phase in our building brick by brick. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're getting ready to do?
I think, I mean, I can go, I'll say a little bit in that. You know your services and what you deliver in the US. I know my services and what I do here in the UK. And because there's no competition or conflict, it actually complements. Am I right? So therefore, we're going to give you a taster of what we both do and how you could actually see how it can actually work well together. So I'll leave you to talk about the details and everything.
Yes, so we would like for you to join us on November the 24th, and we're going to keep it at 1:30. And where two leaders aligned come together and showcase our expertise in a free masterclass. So I'm going to put the Zoom link where you can register for the masterclass on November 24th at 1:30 EST.
6:30 GMT.
Right, right. So we're gonna put the date in here. I'm gonna type the date in the comments.
Lovely.
Definitely want you to go ahead and just register so we know that you will be attending. Let's see here on our webinar. And I love how you said that with our knowledge, our expertise, we're bringing two worlds together to educate, to inspire, to uplift, to help you elevate in your business. So excited about that. I'm going to be bringing some AI integration tools for you. Elsa, tell them what you're going to be bringing them as well.
From a strategic point of view. So in other words, getting you planning ahead. At the same time, reassessing where you currently are, making any changes, and then, as I say, plan ahead. But because we've got the AI as well, technology, I say
Oh,
you
we're
can't
good to go.
Definitely.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's been fun, Elsa. It's been fun. I had a really good time chatting with you and looking forward to our next business venture, which will be on November 24th. So please go ahead and register via the Zoom link, and more to come. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
All right. Good day, good afternoon, good night.
It's after 7 in the evening now. So yeah, we're winding down.
Awesome. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.